Hey everyone, this is MusicTechHelpGuy. Today I'm checking out the new Nectar 3 plugin from iZotope. It's a really cool full vocal production suite, all within this one plugin, but it also includes a few additional plugins that I'll talk about in just a bit. Before I get started, I want to mention a couple things. The first is that I've already created a 17-part course on Nectar 3 over at macprovideo.com. In this course, I dive really deep into each module in Nectar and the included plugins as well. So if you're interested in seeing that, there's a link to it in the video description below. Second, I'm going to be doing another live stream masterclass for ask.video and macprovideo.com. This time I'm going to be covering vocal production in Logic Pro 10. For this stream, I'll be using flex pitch for vocal tuning and creating harmonies, a bit of flex time, as well as the built-in plugins in Logic for vocal production. This will be this Tuesday, November 6th, 2018 at 1 p.m. Eastern Time or 10 a.m. Pacific Time. You can sign up for the stream using the link in the video description below as well. So Nectar 3 is a multi-module plugin. It contains everything from pitch correction, has a de-esser, a compressor, and an EQ, dimensional effects like chorus, flanger, and phaser, a delay unit, and a reverb unit. It also has a gate, a harmony engine, and a saturation unit. So it basically has everything you need for vocal production and vocal mixing. It also has a cool new vocal assistant, which is much like the Neutron and Ozone plugins from iZotope as well. A couple other things that are included with Nectar 3 is the Relay plugin, which is really cool because it can help us to unmask frequencies on other tracks and carve out a space for the vocals. It also comes with the RX7 breath control plugin, which is really helpful to reduce breaths in a recording. But what iZotope has done with Nectar 3 is instead of expanding on their own pitch correction module, they're actually including a copy of Melodyne Essential with this plugin. So that's incredible. So that's a really great chain of plugins for vocal production, all included with Nectar 3. Nectar's interface is a lot like Neutron's interface or Ozone's interface, where all of the modules are up here, and you can remove or add modules this way. So if I want to add EQ, I can add EQ just like that, and you can reorder them all. The one thing to mention is that the pitch module cannot be moved anywhere else. It has to stay in place because obviously you want your pitch correction to happen first. But other than that, you can create a completely custom signal chain. Now, first, I want to play around with the vocal assistant. So what you can do with vocal assistant is you can click right here, and then you can choose to assist. And what this will do is it'll create a custom preset to fit the vocal in the mix. So I'll choose this option, assist, hit next. You can choose a different vibe and a different intensity. I'll just keep this on modern, and I'll do it aggressive, since this is like a hard rock vocal. Then you hit next and just play the audio.
We've come so far, let it bleed, let it seal the fate you're living. Let it die, when every day's a struggle, let it die. There's nothing wrong with giving up when you've been strong for so long. I've tried for 3 long years, but goddamn it feels like 30. We've come so far, let it bleed.
And then when it's all done, you can choose to accept, and this will accept the effects chain that it's created for you. So this will come up with a custom vocal effects chain for you, and this will typically include the pitch correction plugin, although it's not actually engaged. It'll never be turned on from using the vocal assistant. The gate, EQ, and notice that there's 2 of them. You can add the EQ twice, unlike other plugins. The de-esser, the compressor, which also can be added twice, and the reverb module. Things that the vocal assistant doesn't add is delay, dimension, harmony, and saturation. It never adds those. It typically only adds compression, de-esser, EQ, gate, and reverb. It does not add anything else. So let's work with what we have here. Let's turn the gate on, and let's play with our open and closed threshold sliders to find a good spot for the gate.
We've come so far, let it bleed, let it seal the fate you're living. Let it die. When every day's a struggle, let it die. There's nothing wrong with giving up when you've been strong so long. I've tried.
So you can see the reduction when I pulled the open threshold up quite a bit, but you don't want it too high because otherwise it'll cut out all of the vocals. There's 2 EQs here, and the really cool thing about Nectar's EQ is it's not just a static EQ. Like, let's say I want more sibilance here. I can boost up my high frequencies, but you can also click right here for each band, and you can turn this into a dynamic EQ. So if you click on this gain option, this turns it into a dynamic EQ. Now you can make this an expander by clicking the up arrow, or a compressor by clicking the down arrow.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
So that's pretty cool, but Neutron can already do that. One thing I want to show you is that there's also an option. We put this like around 2K here. There's also an option for a frequency dynamic band. So check this out. The actual band will shift around to the vocal melody and change the frequency of the boost or the cut on that band, which is really, really cool.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
Let's also add a high-pass filter here. So you can choose all these different types of bands, filters, and shelves. So I'll add a high-pass here, just to cut out the low end a bit. Let's actually boost this just a touch. There we go.
We've come so far, let it bleed.
Now let's control that sibilance with the de-esser. So the de-esser is really simple. You can just pull the threshold up or down here to find a sweet spot for it.
We've come so far, let it bleed.
You can hear it starting to cut out some of the mid frequencies.
We've come so far, let it bleed.
So what I'll do is I'll push the frequency range up to about 3K. Coming all the way down to 1K is probably a bit too much.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
I absolutely love the compressor in Nectar 3. I love what they've done with it because it makes compression so easy to use when you can see the gain reduction here in orange and you can see your threshold and the dry signal on the bottom. So let me just play this back and you'll see what I mean.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
So you can see the affected signal down here with the gray line.
We've come so far, let it bleed.
And sort of like in the background there, you can see the like dim gray dry signal. And then again, the orange line is showing you the gain reduction as well, based on where you set your threshold, where you set your compression ratio, your release, and attack time. Another cool thing is there's different circuits. As most of you guys know, I love using optical attenuation for vocals. You know, simulating like an LA2A style compression. Although with the optical circuit, notice that it doesn't have the ratio knob like the other circuits.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
And then we've got our built-in reverb. It's just a plate reverb that is optimized for vocals. So there's not a bunch of different reverbs to choose from, but it's a very simple, good-sounding reverb for vocals. Let's add the delay on here as well. But I'll pull the reverb or pull the delay before the reverb. Pull the mix way down.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're.
And let's filter out the delay range. I just kind of want a warm ambient background slap.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
If I want to add a bit of chorus or dimension effects to the voice just to thicken it a bit, I can do that as well. So you can add chorus, flanger, or phaser. I'm more of a fan of the chorus.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
And the cool thing about all your time-based effects is that there are these mix sliders, so you can blend the dry and the wet signal together, and this keeps you from having to use an aux track and bus over effects over to aux tracks. So that's really cool. You can even do it with EQ and compression. If you want to apply parallel EQ or parallel compression to your signal chain, you can do that as well. So that's a really cool feature. So that's kind of an overview of most of the mix-related plugins or modules. Let's check out the pitch plugin. So with the pitch plugin, you can turn it on here, and you can set what key you want down here. So for me, this song is in C minor, so I'm going to set it to a root note of C, or a root tonic of C, set the key to minor, turn on the correction, and the amount of correction is going to be based on how much strength you have here, and also the speed of the correction. So if I pull this all the way down and this all the way up, it's going to sound a little weird, it's going to sound a little glitched.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
Little too much. So let's pull up the speed so it doesn't react as quickly and pull the strength down a bit. So let's see what that sounds like now.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
And like I said, if you want more control over your vocal tuning, you can also use Melodyne Essential that comes with it as well. And it's a standalone plugin. It's not integrated into the Nectar 3 plugin at all. If you want to create harmonies, you can do that too with Nectar 3's Harmony Engine. It actually allows you to create up to 8 different harmonies, which is really cool. So you can actually create diatonic harmony with this by clicking this Set Scale button, which actually takes you back to the pitch plugin. And what this does is it follows whatever key or custom scale that you've created here. So right now I'm still in C minor. So what I can do is I can move around these different harmonies, and you can affect how loud the harmony is by moving it back and forth, and also where you want it in the stereo image, left and right. So let's say I want my first harmony to be a diatonic third above, and my other one I want it to be a diatonic sixth below. Let's pull the sixth back a bit and the third up a bit, and let's give that a listen with all of these in.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
You can also choose to solo just the voices. And this is typically what I'll do. I'll create a separate track, solo the voices, so then I can have individual control over my harmonies and my dry vocal, and I can use automation to cut the harmonies in and out only where I want them to go.
We've come so far, let it bleed.
You can apply pitch correction to the harmonies, time variation, as well as pitch variation to the harmonies. Typically what I like to do with the filter is cut out the lows and highs a bit so that it doesn't cause any phase issues with the lead vocals in the high range or in the low range. So let's see what this sounds like all together.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living.
There's also a built-in width option here, so if you want to play even more with the stereo image, you can do that here, and you can expand it, or in negative values, you can narrow it.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it see.
So you can really create some really huge vocals, some really wide-sounding, lush vocals. There's a built-in limiter as well, so if we want to cut out that clip there.
We've come so far, let it bleed. Let it seal the fate you're living. Let it die when every day's a struggle. Let it die. There's nothing wrong.
So that's Nectar 3 from iZotope. iZotope has really gone above and beyond with this update and really brought this plugin up to speed with Nectar and Ozone. Again, if you want to check out my 17-part unofficial manual for Nectar 3 or my live stream masterclass on vocal production, check out the links in the video description below. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.